Hello and welcome to the Tinley Park Chamber of Commerce TV show. My name is Donna Framke and I'm delighted to be your host for the Tinley Park Chamber Spotlight Show. Our first guest, if you would join me in welcoming him, is John Osborne from Image 360 in Mokena. Image 360 is a visual communications company. So can you tell me a little bit about what that means?
Absolutely, and thanks for having me on the show. So Image 360 is a visual communications company that specializes in signage, graphics, and displays. But we do more than just signage, graphics, and displays. I mean, we sell our clients tools that help them either get organized or create brand awareness or increase the safety in their office space as well. So we have a range of different products that offer different solutions. Everything from exterior building signage, interior wayfinding signage, vehicle wraps, vehicle graphics. We help a wide range of clients. We're mostly a business-to-business company, but everybody from a small company just starting out all the way up to established corporations. We have quite a few clients who are nationwide as well that we service through our nationwide network.
Very nice. So when you say it's a wide range of clients and the size that they are, do you, if a small business is coming to you and they're interested in, maybe they don't even know where to start yet, they know they need this, what kind of support are you able to offer for?
With Image 360, we have a consultative approach to our sales process. So we'll bring the clients in and talk about, what their goals are, what they want their brand to look like. And we can start at the very bottom level with their brand. We have two college-educated graphic designers on staff, as well as myself, who's a trained graphic designer. And we'll bring them in and just talk with them and find out what those goals are, and then work with them towards achieving those goals, whether it just be developing a simple logo or developing a 30-foot tall monument sign.
Nice. So you will do the logo development as well?
Yeah, yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, we've probably designed well over 300 logos over the last 18 years.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So how long has your business been around?
Well, actually, my father opened the business in 2000. He retired from being a Will County sheriff, and I was enjoying retirement. Then my mom told him that, time to get back to work. You're way too young to do this at 50 years old. So he started researching businesses to open, and he kind of really liked the sign business and thought it was a good fit for him and his skill set. So he opened in 2000. I was the first employee while I was still going to college downtown at Columbia. And honestly, I fell in love with the business. Fast forward 14 years, I should go back and mention we did open originally as an Image 360 or a Signs Now, and then in 2014 we rebranded to Image 360. So and then when was it? December of 2016. My dad's getting up in age after doing this for so many years, and I decided that it was time to buy him out. So
I gotcha. So Signs Now, did you only do signs? It sounds like a company that maybe only did signs, and you.
It was a little more focused on signage. It was more about having signs quick, which was the trend back in the mid 80s when the quick sign industry started.
Sure.
But over time, people started to move away from just needing signs fast, right? Because anybody can go get a digital printer, right?
Right.
Where we differentiate ourselves is, we're experienced professionals. We're going to, go ahead and look at all of the issues that may be going on and develop a solution for you, not just hand over a sign.
Now, speaking of trends, what kind of trends are you seeing in the signage and visual communications industry? I mean, I've seen all kinds of things from, like you mentioned, wrapped vehicles. That seems to be like a relatively new type thing. I've seen, things on businesses up on the walls that I think are really fascinating. I imagine.
What I would consider a new trend is experiential design or environmental branding. I think that's kind of the newest trend is, taking spaces and having people walk into that space and have a feeling. And that's something we can help people do through wall graphics, floor graphics, dimensional signage. And we don't just always use traditional sign materials. We have a project we're working on for a local client that we're using pieces from the built environment, meaning so we're using raw concrete, metals, reclaimed woods, just to give it a different feeling and texture. And we're going to see this develop, as the retail market shrinks. We're probably going to see smaller floor prints in stores. And it's more about the customer experience rather than having everything out on the floor. So experientials, it's a developing trend, and we're doing everything we can to be a part of it.
Is that like point of sale type stuff too then when you say experiential, or is that fall in that same vein? Or
Yeah. I mean, it is definitely in the retail environment because, that's where the clients are. But it's also into the work environment, a corporate office, or even a small retail shop. It can really go anywhere. When you want to communicate your brand, signage, graphics, displays are a great way to do it.
all the visuals. Well, give me an example of one or two that stand out. I'm sure you've seen all kinds in that many years, but anything that you think is really stood out, or something that you would point to as a huge success?
I'm not a huge fan of Vegas as far as going there to gamble, but it's all your senses all the time in Vegas, and there's some great examples of experiential signage in Vegas. The Cosmopolitan Hotel's one great example of it. So, and that's actually mixed media. I mean, that's taking it a whole step further, but you're just totally engrossed in an environment, and it leaves you with a feeling, and that's what experiential is all about.
Sure, gotcha. Now, is there anything local that I maybe have seen that stands out, or that you guys have worked on? Or?
I don't know necessarily. Let me think off the
Our
top of my
viewers
head.
might have seen.
I have tons of examples
Well, show
here.
me some of your examples. That would
Okay.
be great.
So if you go to, let's see here. Here's one example here of a retail environment that we helped brand, which was Russo Power Equipment in Frankfurt. We laid over 5,000 square feet of wall graphics all along the top of the store. And then we actually went in and branded a history timeline combined of Russo and one of their vendors. So that took up about a 20 by 20 room. So we see a dimensional timeline going all throughout this.
That's a little storytelling going on in there
Yeah,
too. That's very
yeah.
neat.
Let's see what else we have here. This is a client who just opened up last year in Mokena. It's Xylem. They're an international pump manufacturer. And we just want to create that feeling of movement. As soon as you walk in the door, they deal with water. So we were able to use some dimensional lettering as well as reverse printed clear polycarbonate mounted with standoffs. And it does a great job of describing that. Word walls are a very hot topic now as well in everybody's environment. Just trying to get people to use those buzzwords and think about that. And so to the point you're seeing them all the time, it becomes subconscious. And it gets even employees to buy into a brand promise.
Gotcha. And what about like large signs? Have you done any, you mentioned, I think, that one that you did out in for a theater or something?
Yeah, so we did the Roxy Theater out in Lockport. That was a joint venture between one of our general contractors and Trinity Services, who bought the space, which had really just kind of lost its luster, over the last 20, 30 years, that it changed hands and got served for different purposes other than what it was intended to. And part of that was with the city of Lockport's help and Trinity. They invested in the building, and now it's a gorgeous, it's really just the, I don't even know how to put this.
It's got to be attention grabbing. That one I actually have seen, so that's pretty amazing. Well, it's really fascinating.
But it was a full out restoration of the facade of this old theater. And what we were able to do was incorporate the new LED technology and bring that instead of using the old technology like neon.
Gotcha.
And it just turned out really stunning. So
fantastic. It's really amazing the type of work that you do. It's very, very interesting.
Well, thank you.
As we close, is there anything you want our viewers to know specifically about your company that we maybe didn't share yet?
I guess, we're a family-run business, and, we're always striving for more. And we're constantly reinvesting in our staff. We're reinvesting in technology to take us to that next level. And we've seen just growth year over year over year because we do that. So that's kind of our formula. We're going to stay with that.
Sounds like a great business practice. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Please join me in welcoming our next guest, who is Cathy Pruim, who is a health and wellness coach with Juice Plus and Shred 10. So welcome, Cathy.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about what the product is. I must admit I don't know very much about it. I'm curious to know what looks fascinating, but I'm curious to know more about it.
Okay, well, it is simply fruits, veggies, and berries that are and omegas that are in capsules and in gummies.
Huh?
And we also have shakes, and we have our Shred 10.
Wow. Well, so obviously supplements for people to improve their health, I imagine.
Yeah, well, it's actually, we just don't eat enough fruits and veggies on a daily basis, and not in the variety that we should be eating.
Very difficult to do.
It is, because a lot of times there's a peanut butter and jelly day or a pizza night, and so it's often hard to do. And sometimes, if you're like me, I'm very busy and I'm grabbing something on the run. So this really bridges the gap between what we should eat on a daily basis and what we actually do eat. Do you know how many fruits and veggies we're supposed to eat every day?
5 servings, right? 5
You know,
servings?
that was a long time ago. Yeah, I know everyone thinks it's 5, but it's actually 9 to 13.
9 to 13 servings. Wow. That is a lot. Well, we could really use some help with something like that then.
Yes, you're right.
So these are actual food-based? Is that what they are?
Yeah, it is. People often ask me if it's a vitamin, but it's not. It actually has a nutrition facts. You see that?
Certainly.
If you were to look at a vitamin, it would say supplement facts, but this is nutrition facts, like you would see on a bottle of milk or a can of green beans. And right, so you just can't eat too many fruits and veggies and berries.
Not if you're trying to get 9 to 13 servings in a day, that's for sure. So is it something, what are these packets? Is that something you drink? Is that?
All right, so, everybody thinks that Juice Plus is a juice, but let me tell you a little bit how it's made. We have our own farms, and it's all organic, and they pick it at the ripest time, and then they start the process right away, and they take it down at a low temperature. They freeze it, and they take it down at a low temperature, and they take the sugar out so diabetics and cancer patients can take it, and then they put it in a capsule. So for those of us who don't like to drink kale and broccoli, well, I wasn't ready for that, 14 years ago. It's put in a capsule, and then when you drink water, it rehydrates. It's virtually calorie-free.
Really? Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Wow. So adults take this? Kids can take this?
Well, this is for adults, and if you're a kid at heart and you can't, swallow a capsule. Some people have a hard time swallowing a capsule. We have gummies as well. So this is the fruit gummies, and they are actually called soft chews, and this is the veggies, and we also have berry gummies as well. And it really is, all the colors of the rainbow, and that's what keeps you healthy, is all the colors of the rainbow.
Gotcha. Now, I heard you say 14 years. How did you get into this field? This is pretty interesting.
Well, my son-in-law is a doctor, and he told me that I was wasting my time with vitamins, and I had been taking vitamins all my life.
Yeah.
But at the time, I had a lot of health issues. I had a lot of seasonal allergies. And then at 50, I got asthma. So I was on a slew of meds, inhalers, nasal sprays, and I would get bronchitis 2-3 times a year for 4 to 6 weeks. And it was a Z-Pack and another Z-Pack, and I was just tired. And that's when he told me about this. He's a pediatrician, and he said, Mom, this is what we need. We don't have a vitamin deficiency. We have a whole food deficiency.
Well, that's certainly a good testimonial coming right from a doctor, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. So who are your ideal clients for this? I mean,
Well, if you can't, won't, or don't want to eat fruits and veggies. This really bridges the gap between what we should eat on a daily basis and what we actually do eat. I still try to eat pretty healthy every morning. Every morning I have a shake in the morning. When I'm doing the Shred 10, I'll have 2 shakes. I'll have one in the morning, and I might have one. My bad time is kind of about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I want to eat anything. Yeah,
Hungry.
Eat anything in sight. So this really helps me. This is a protein, all vegan protein shake. So I mix this in almond milk, or you can mix it in water. And sometimes I put a little bit of peanut butter in the chocolate one with a piece of banana and a little bit of ice, and put it in my Magic Bullet.
That actually sounds good.
You know what? It tastes like a Reese's peanut butter cup.
I bet it does.
It's
great.
Right, and so then I'm not eating all the wrong things. Or sometimes
so is that like a meal replacement then when you're doing that?
Well, you're pretty full after that, so I have this for breakfast, and I'll have this for maybe 3 o'clock, or sometimes for dessert. It's really good if you mix a little almond milk and a little chocolate chips with this. And instead of shaking it, a lot of milk, just a little, it tastes like chocolate chip cookie dough. We have recipes for that in our cookbook.
I see that you have a cookbook. So how does that come with the
well,
or something people can buy? Or?
Well, the cookbook is something that I give my clients if they want to start a Shred 10.
So you mentioned Shred 10. I should have asked you about that. What is that now? I have a handle on the Juice Plus, but what is Shred 10? Is that a way to lose 10 pounds or something?
You know what? Everybody says that too, and it's it really is a 10-day detox. So it's 10 days of healthy, clean eating, and we do have guidelines, and they're in the Shred book, and we also have wonderful recipes in here. I like to have Shred parties right before the Shred 10 starts, and we'll make a couple recipes and let the people try them. So it's clean, healthy eating, it's getting exercise every day, and sleeping, getting enough sleep. And it really, really works. I tell you, you feel really good when you're done with this. I do that about once a month.
Really?
The first month.
Difficult to stick to?
The third day was the hardest, I'll be honest with you, but because I had, I have some guilty little habits.
Don't we all?
But I tell you, on day 4, I felt fabulous. And you know what? The upside of eating healthy is that you lose a little weight.
The bloat, too, I imagine,
the
right?
bloat.
That we all feel when we're eating not the right foods.
That is so true. That is so true. Yeah, I'm the same size as I was when I was 20.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yes.
That's fantastic. So that's all whole food based, so that cookbook or whatever kind of walks you through what it is that you need to do and maybe helps you do the meal planning and meal prep and all that type of thing?
Yes, and we have online support as well, and there's a really nice shopping list in here. So you want to get rid of the bad stuff in the cabinet or put it out of sight, out of mind, and get more of the good stuff. And we encourage people to have a setup day. So maybe you shop on Saturday, and then you prep on Saturday.
Gotcha.
So that you don't grab the wrong foods.
And if it's turnkey, then it's much easier to follow.
Yes.
Well, in closing, is there anything you'd like to tell our viewers so that they, how they can get more information or what they...
Yes. I really feel that everybody needs Juice Plus, everybody, even if you're juicing. And you can find me almost every Saturday at the Tinley Park Farmers Market, and I'd be happy to tell them more or give them a little sample, because I'm sure they're all wishing they could try these gummies.
Absolutely. Well, great. If you need more information, you can contact the Tinley Park Chamber or come see Cathy at the Farmers Market. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And our third guest this evening is Mr. Tom McNulty from McNulty Wealth Management. He's here tonight wearing his other hat as a director of the Tinley Park Chamber of Commerce and I believe chairman of the Tinley Park Oktoberfest Committee. Is that correct?
That's right.
Well, welcome, Tom.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
That was I know last year was if I'm not mistaken, the first in a while that the Tinley Park Oktoberfest event happened. So
Right.
it was phenomenally successful, huge success. what are plans for this year? First of all, when, where?
Yes, so the dates are the weekend before last year. So last year we ran it on the last weekend in September, so this year we'll do the week prior. So it'll be the third weekend in September, and that's the September 21st, 22nd, 23rd. Times of the event will be the same, so Friday from 5 to 10, Saturday 1 to 10, and Sunday from 1 to 6. It'll be in the North Avenue or North parking lot to the 80th Avenue Metro train station parking lot. And this year we'll have all the parking on the south side of the tracks this year to make it easy of access. So for anyone that came to the event last year, the Oktoberfest event was right up against 80th Avenue, and then we had the carnival behind us. And this year we're switching for earlier setup. So we've increased the square footage of the entire event, so we'll have more food vendors, we'll have more of the craft vendors. We're looking to add anywhere from 15 to 20 additional craft vendors to come out this year.
Wow.
So we have a lot more square footage to play with, which is fantastic, and you know, because of the success of last year's event is why we look to do even more this year.
Well, that's great. I know you mentioned the parking over there. Not everybody knows that there's a pass-through right underneath the tracks
Right.
there. So it is actually convenient parking for people right there. They can
Yes.
walk right over.
And in fact, because we're switching and we're putting the carnival up against 80th Avenue and then the Oktoberfest event closer towards the entrance to the train station, when you walk under the in the tunnel, through the tunnel, you come out right into the event. So you'll have the craft vendors, food vendors, beer vendors, the entertainment. It'll all be right there as you come out of the tunnel. So it'll be really exciting this year.
Voila, it's all right
Yes.
there.
So we're looking forward to the changes.
That's fantastic. Can you share with me who you're looking at for, you mentioned additional craft vendors. Do you have additional vendors yet lined up that, or some of the entertainment maybe that's you've got slated?
Yeah, we've got a lot of arms out already for entertainment, so we're just waiting on a lot of responses. The overwhelming response from those who joined us last year from an entertainment perspective, all of them said they would love to come back again this year, so we've reached out to them already, and we're going to shrink down the times of the performances for some of them so that we can fit more of the entertainment in and do a little bit more of a variety
Nice.
this year as opposed to last year.
Nice. Now, I know if I recall from last year, there was some authenticity to a lot of the things that you were doing. Can you speak to that a little bit? I know there was I forget what you called the name of the ceremony right at the beginning that kind of started it off. And I know
Right. We tried so hard to make sure everything that we did was as authentic as possible, even starting with the opening of the event with a ceremonial keg tapping. We had Mayor Vandenberg come out and tap the first keg. That was both Friday night and Saturday. So it went over very well, and the bands were fantastic, and we've got the ceremonial kegs on order, and they'll be here for this year's event again. So.
And I know Tinley Park has a lot of brewers in town, so will most of them be
Yes.
there as
Yep.
well?
Each one of the ones that we had from last year, 350 Brewing, Banging Gavel, and Hailstorm have all agreed to come back again this year. Polliner USA and Hockershore have agreed to come back again this year as well. And Sound Growler is our newest addition brewery, and we're actually meeting tomorrow.
Nice.
So.
Nice. And then one stage, two stages for
Just one
entertainment?
stage.
Okay. So I know Oktoberfest is something that's been around in Tinley Park, I want to say, I'm guessing, I know it was at least 20 years back that they had it. I think even my husband tells me when he was a kid they had Oktoberfest down along Oak Park Avenue and along the train tracks and stuff. So I know it went on a little bit of a hiatus, but what prompted the chamber to bring it back?
So my wife and I and family had moved into Tinley Park back in 2004, and a few years after that I got involved in the Tinley Park Chamber of Commerce, and had always heard people speak so highly of Oktoberfest and tell stories about when they were kids, and we've always kind of toyed with the idea of how to bring it back and how to make it work again, and everybody seemed to say the same thing. We're just looking for somebody to step into it and grab onto it and bring it back. It was such a fantastic event, and so because of the benefits that it brings to the community from a resident perspective as well as the business perspective, we wanted to do what we could in order to bring it back. So the board of directors agreed it was time, and so last year was our first year, and we're really looking forward to it again this year.
Do you have a good-sized group who helps you with this? I imagine an event of that size, you probably need a good-sized committee.
Yes, we right now we're at the core of the committee, so we've got our chair folks, Bob Halstein, myself, Jackie Bobbitt at the Chamber is amazing. Our new event coordinator, Gina. And so we're, right now, that's the core four, but we're, and of course our president, Maureen Spola, helping out at this point. And then now it's time for us to grow the committee and then move into that direction. But yeah, last year's committee, I want to say, was around 15 people. And so hopefully we'll have equal to that or greater this year.
Great, great. So how was the event beneficial to Tinley Park? I mean, I know you mentioned that it's, you have the history and stuff there, but are there proceeds that go anywhere, or does the chamber does the chamber do anything special for the community?
Yes. So some of the proceeds wound up going towards our chamber scholarship program.
Nice.
That we had, and then it's also a partial fundraiser for the chamber to offset the overhead costs and administration along with the dues of the community.
Gotcha. The chamber is very active, so they're always doing.
We're trying, that's for sure. And I think in a lot of ways it brought back just an overall spirit that people were really anxious to see.
Right.
And so a lot of positive feedback, a lot of positive changes for this year's event as well. So we're looking forward to it.
It's very exciting. I don't think that, to my knowledge, are there other communities nearby that do something like that? This is kind of unique to Tinley, isn't it?
Yes. When you add in the different vendors, from the craft vendors to the beer, the food, the carnival, you add it all together, and it is unique, as far as I could find anyway, to the south side.
Gotcha. We didn't really touch base. Are there a lot of craft vendors and business vendors that are out there?
Well, last year we had just about 20.
Okay.
That came out, and we had others that had expressed interest after the event. So I would say that based on the return of the current vendors, and then add on another 5 or 6 that have agreed to come back, and then all the ones we reached out to that just didn't have it in the schedule last year, just based on how late we reached out, we should be right around 40 vendors this year.
Wow, that's really good.
It's a big jump, but we're excited about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of room out at that station.
Yes, there is. It's enormous, especially when you walk it off.
Yeah, well, but that's good, because then there's plenty of room for lots of people to come out and make if they want to make some kind of reunion out of it, or meet up and meet friends,
Absolutely.
Or bring out your neighbors or whatever. It's one of those things that Tinley Park does that really makes Tinley Park a community.
Right.
And then, of course, music is, being the brand that we have here, that's always nice, another element of music.
Absolutely.
In our community.
Exactly right.
So how can people find more information?
The website is out there. It's tinleyparkoktoberfest.com. The Facebook page exists also, and then you can also go to the Chamber's website, tinleychamber.org.
Fantastic. Well, as we close, is there anything else you want to make sure our viewers know about the event, or?
No, it's a fantastic event to also take the Metro train station into, where you can travel from other communities, and the train opens right into the event. Go enjoy yourself, jump back on the train, and right back to the parking lot or back to hometown.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it. Looking forward to the event. It's keeping our fingers crossed for good weather, and it's super exciting. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And if you want to contact any of our tonight's guests or get any additional information, please reach out to the Tinley Park Chamber of Commerce. They can be reached at 708-532-5700 or at www.tinleyparkchamber.org. Thank you very much for joining us. See you next time.